outstripped his Ray incident. Puck lobbed up and out. You know, I think about things often, Pete. Who had the most unique slapper in the history of, as that little grub, Nathan McKinnon. Going after the bank as Girard was hammered down. We've got some shenanigans along the end boards. Sammy Girard was hammered into the end boards. He's back on his skates. McKinnon is red hot. He wants a piece of LeBanc in the worst kind of way. Trying to drag him out of the pile. And here we go, baby. McKinnon and LeBanc. Right by LeBanc. McKinnon trying to get his arm free. Left by McKinnon. Right by LeBanc there. Drags him down. And nobody really landed anything, but McKinnon made his thoughts known. He's not going to accept that kind of hit on his young defenseman, and Girard is bent over at the waist, heading back to the Avalanche bench.
We've already lost Graves. Here's the play by LeBanc. He comes in and nasty play. Takes the feet out from Girard, and the Avalanche are not going to be happy with that.
Girard has gone down the tunnel into the dressing room. And you hope, Pete, that it's just precautionary. And then here comes McKinnon. He was red hot.
Now, did he start this? Is that what they're going to... Here's Girard. I mean, hopefully.
Then there's a penalty call coming up for holding.
It's going to be Zucker heading off, and now Dillon and Bluger, I think, going at each other.
Oh, that might be a little bit too much for Bluger.
I think
Good
it is.
night.
Yep.
Good night.
But then after the whistle there you see the first punch by Bluger, and then he took the rest from Brendan Dillon. A mismatch for Bluger there by Brendan.
Thankfully, Dillon didn't throw that last right.
Correct.
I don't think Bluger wanted to go to begin with.
Another guy that's good on both sides of the puck. When you win the best offensive player of the year and the best defensive player of the year, that means you're good at both ends. And that was Shane Pinto.
Romanov stepped in, and Norris had the whistle of the hit, and the gloves come off with Norris and Romanov. They got spun around. The linesmen were going to get in between, and now they're squared up. A spirited tilt between the two, and down they go.
He might have bit off a little bit more than he could chew. He loves to finish his checks, and right there's nothing wrong with that. The puck gets dumped in. He banged him. Norris didn't like it. He went over. He didn't drop his gloves, though. I think he went over to have a talk with him. And Romanov said, no, you want to go? And then all of a sudden...
Questions answered early. 2-0 Panthers. Gudas, a big hit on Klingberg, and now Como goes after Gudas, and they're going to get tangled up. I'm not sure Blake Como wants to have this one go too long, but give him credit.
A couple of physical players. And Como, no doubt, he's trying to spark his team down 2-0 here early in this first period. Gudas, he'll always oblige to the dance card.
Como held his own.
Leading that trio after his arrival with Krejci and Craig Smith. And we have our first penalty of the game, finally, and a fight. It's Greer and Clifton.
Oh boy, both guys rolling some big rights. Greer loses the lid. I was watching the play go up ice. I didn't see how this all started. Both guys with a spirited effort here. You knew that was going to transpire. Then Clifton steps in, the Jersey native, and challenges him to protect his teammate. And a pretty good bout by these two guys. Both guys with some rights. There's a right by Greer to Clifton in the ear, but he...
Farabee will go with Friedman. Joel Farabee and Mark Friedman. Former teammates. Friedman got a right in. Farabee got a right in, and down goes Friedman. Joel Farabee took him one punch. He got the job done.
There's been a lot of guys going after him. There's the hit by Friedman. That's okay. A nice cross check from Voracek, and then Farabee deals with it himself. Give Friedman credit for also dropping the gloves, but I think he thought he was going to do a little better than he did, as he eventually gets in there to throw a punch. And he's quickly taken down to the mat.
Philadelphia 86, Pittsburgh 52.
Line, Carl Hagelin nicked out, and Garnet Hathaway, they combined for 2 goals, 3 assists.
Here we go,
Right off the face-off. 3 fights simultaneously. Rooney and Dowd. Di Giuseppe going at it with Hathaway, Blackwell, and Hagelin. 1 second in.
First of all, classy move by Blackwell. He had Hagelin down and he didn't throw an extra punch. Hathaway and Di Giuseppe are really getting after one another. That reminds me of when John Tortorella coached the Rangers and Pete DeBoer coached the New Jersey Devils, and they got after it, Kenny. You were here to do that game. I was here to do that game with Doc Emmerich. And I think everybody else got the message pretty early on there, Kenny. This was probably the highlight of all the bouts, with fists of fury flying both ways. See Dowd out of Huntsville, Alabama, fighting Rooney out of Canton, Massachusetts, and those are 2 big, strong guys getting after one another.
The puck, and here's the booze from the crowd.
And here's Brandon Smith.
Brandon Smith goes right after Wilson.
Yep.
It did not take long, Pierre.
Nope. He showed it in the warm-up, Brandon Smith, and he knew. And he's hanging in there real well against an unbelievable heavyweight in Tom Wilson.
He certainly is. Well, 3 fights simultaneously right at the start, and now 50 seconds in, Wilson's first shift. And now he and Smith are separated.
In no time at all. Wilson's head is up. He knows he's going to get the puck, get rid of it, do it to his teammate. He knows right away. Smith's engaged and ready to go. So it begs the question, Kenny, if Tom Wilson is suspended for 1 game.
7, and now Boteto drops the gloves with Michael Ruffel. This is the 5th altercation in the first 4 minutes, 14 seconds. Anthony Boteto, the New York native, and the longtime Philadelphia Flyer, Michael Ruffel.
You see right away, that's a challenge. That's a defenseman going right after the center iceman with Michael Raffel, so that's interesting. Instigator, right? So there you go. Here we go, another one.
It's Ryan Strome.
And Lars Eller.
You're right, Pierre. They might not have enough players left to play hockey.
Lars Eller is a really solid 2-way center. They wasted no time at all. And again, Kenny, I'm just going to bring it up. If Tom Wilson is suspended for 1 game, I wonder if we even have this going on.
You know, he just took upon that role and said, okay, you're going to put up with some of my mistakes. I'm going to make some.
Here's a fight now. Comtois at center ice against Mikkola. Big right by Mikkola. And he lands a solid right. Now Comtois, a left. Now an uppercut. And he goes spinning around. And another right by Mikkola. Well, 2 unlikely combatants there. That was a pretty good scrap.
Okay, this isn't the New York Rangers, Washington Capitals, but that is a good way to start this hockey game. And for Niko Mikkola, he's played some good hockey. Wrong right there. He just finished his check. But I love that Mikkola went at him. And that's great. Good for him. Fight your own battles. And he drops him with the highest point getter.
Like he had scored a few goals in the National Hockey League. Good little one-timer, and I believe Fleury got over to make that save. Oh, what do you got here?
Kaprizov took a cheap shot in front of the Vegas bench, and the Wild quickly come to his defense. Kaprizov's happy to defend himself, but he took a hit from behind right in front of the Vegas bench by Nicholas Hague, and the Wild quickly come to the defense of their young star, and Foligno is incensed. Does that become even more important in a situation like this when you might see this team in the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, especially if the Wild win this game tonight. If the Wild win this game in regulation, there's probably a 70% chance you're going to be playing the Vegas Golden Knights. And
Greenway off the boards. Tried to get it to Eriksson Ek, and it hit the open door on the Vegas bench, so we get a whistle. And now a little bit more activity here as Eriksson Ek tangling with Kolesar and Foligno and Haig. Remember, Haig's the one who started everything else with the cheap shot on the check from behind on Kaprizov, and Foligno does not forget. So these two go at it in the corner.
And Foligno caught him early in this fight. Haig can throw him pretty good too. I didn't realize he was this good a fighter, but Marcus Foligno's got the rights going. This is a big boy fight here, right here.
Big boy fight, and these are the kind of fights that I believe have a place in the game of hockey. You took a run at our skill guy, you're going to pay the price. And so watch, well, Foligno, this is the tail end of it. Foligno comes down. I mean, he was about to climb over the bench.
Yeah, there was no way Eriksson Ek was going to fight Haig. I mean, not with Foligno on the ice. You knew that he was going to take care of business there, and thought maybe he could have got an instigator there because he dropped his gloves before Haig, but
got to be trifled with. And now we've got a fight right at center, and it's Chason and Hamonic. Hamonic landed a left, pulls the helmet off of Chason, who's looking to unload a big right hook, and instead the two get one another off balance, and they're yanked down.
On Archibald, he didn't like that, but right here, boom, kind of a clipping hit. And I'll tell you, those can be really dangerous. Chason said enough of that. Sheds that was auto shed.
Slipped up the boards, Hughes. And now we've got a fight. And there you go.
Guess who?
Nurse
McEwen
and McEwen.
Nurse.
You called it. McEwen trying to stay out of range of Nurse's cocked right hand. Misses with an uppercut. Nurse lands an uppercut, eats a chopping right, and then takes McEwen down. And they are still throwing. And you know it's anger when they're still throwing when the players are on the ice.
How it started in front of the net. McEwen goes there, and Nurse, boom, let's just do this. Not going to hesitate. He might even get the 2 for instigation. And trying to stretch out McEwen, who's a big boy, and then eventually McEwen's going to come over with a pretty big right hand, and then bang, Nurse just slams him down. Right there, that's the right hand, and then watch this. Darnell Nurse, a little MMA move to just throw him down. He goes down hard on top of him, and then the ground and pound starters. That's the full mount, as it's called.